Okay, let's start our class today. I'm sorry that because I'm not feeling really well, or maybe not able to finish the class, but I try to cover everything.
No problem.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, because my phone and show is not feeling good. So if you couldn't hear well or any question, you can feel free to stop me and let me repeat one more time.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay. First is about the assignment. So the assignment I already uploaded and you should able to see on the D2L. So this one will mainly the first part will be about the question. If you really long time ago, if we still remember, we talk about the eyes, past and SAS. So just like give the description and then the advantage, disadvantage, and what's the example you're using, you can put, and then just one or two sentences, so you do not very complicated, just like help you to record the memory. So what are those about these two cloud service model, and because they will be the question I'm going to have like asked in the exam too, so just help you to do the revision. And the next is the file permission. So if you still remember the lecture we have about the IAM, so all the file permission, the basic we start with the let's say we with the default lighthouse permission would be 7.7, and then will be we write execute. So for owner group and owner group and then other, sometimes we say the global like this. But if I say in four numerical, like 4 digits, so you just need to add one more 0 if there's no special bit. Mainly 4 digits, like for the special bit, if I need to use like set UID, set group ID, or we have a sticky bit, then you need to add, like, let's say if we have the set user ID, then we will change it to 4. If I set group ID will be 2. And if in the question you see something related to sticky bit, then it would be 1. Okay. And if we have a sticky bit, but let's say we have nothing, then we be put a dash right here, like a hyphen in the front, so we total 10 letters. If we have the sticky bit, then you need to change it. And let's say if you need to use a group execute like this, and if it is a directory, then you can change the directory just like this. Okay. And sticky p, sometimes we have the T. If you see T, so you can refer to it. Then you can check the question based on the question I gave you. You can put the numerical and spread symbolic solution. And I will ask you, how can we remove all those like execute permission? If you remember, like those two comments, chmon or like chon, I changed the group. And also we have a special parameter, if you still remember, like plus, minus, and equals to. So all this will be the you need to use for the assignment. Okay, so total like 15 questions, and then last one you just like give me some few sentences to answer. So what this one doing? Okay, so this directory, so like mainly is right here was the S representing, so you will know. Okay, do you have a question about the assignment?
No.
No. Okay, so I suppose I already uploaded and said available, so you do have a time. If you still have some questions or some problem about the assignment, then you can feel free to ask me. Also, I can extend the time for you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So This one is the assignment. And then next is about the project, because it's almost the time I talk about the project. I created groups for the project. And because I know not all the students attending the class and they may miss it, so I will put a notification as a first, like before by the end of this month. But we only total we only have a few students, so I try to make it like 2 groups. So maybe you need to contact with other students, and then you can feel free to join the to form a group. Like if you go to D2L communication and then form 2 groups together. And as a first submission, you need to do is like form group, give me the topic. So what type of API server like you want to build. You can refer to some like existing service you want to simulate, or let's say if you want to build an online shop, like selling products, and what you need to do. And then as a first step, we need to have a project planning and design, right? So you just like, I will give you the more details guideline. So what do you need to put? So mainly it's like structures, what the possible data path. So you need to maybe the database, you need to include it. So you need to submit the design first. Okay, as a first one. And then later, after you submit the, of course, you are feel free to modify. I'm not saying, okay, once you submit it, you are not allowed to change it. You are feel free to change it, because like within the implementation, then maybe you will change your design or change the structure. So you're free, and then you also need to do them testing, and then mainly see did you increase some well, now I think if after you submit the last assignment, you should able like to build the API server, and then you can connect to your database. So it's a basic one. So also including all those like validation, checking, all those security measures, then we already assigned it. And then later in the coming lecture, I also cover what are those possible attack, if you know the maybe some like SQL injection or the XSS. So all this is going up at cover, and then how can your API server to prevent those attacks? So you need to do, but it will be the later step. And after you complete all the phase, then you can just combine together. Okay, let me remove. But I'm not really require you to do the presentation, so maybe I can take it out. So mainly the documents are all the source code, and then the project, just like combine everything, make as a one complete project. Okay. Is it okay or clear about the your project?
No, I think it makes sense. We don't have to do it in groups, right?
If well, for this situation, if you I just worry the workload is too much, but it's not necessary. Okay. So if
Okay.
you are able to handle everything, then I will let you to do it like just individual.
Yeah,
I will
because
let you to, yeah.
I
And
just worry that
mhm.
I'll have a partner that won't contribute as much,
Okay,
and
okay.
then that'll like actually weigh me down potentially.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I actually it's part of it as a team project, because they will consider like how much you work, like your contribution to the group, to your team. But I know it's a big project, or actually like doing the those lab, or I give those source code. So I wish can help you to build a fundamental API server. So like based on the top. Also during the assignment, I will give you when I give the assignment. Like basically, if you're able to complete all those assignment, then you will actually the backbone of your API server kind of like 50 to 60% is okay. So on top, you need to like implement those security level and then do the document. So if you think you are okay, then I allowed you to like do it as an individual. Okay. So maybe I will change the group. Right now I only open 2. Maybe I will create few more. Then you can just like register by yourself and then submit your topic and also let me know
Okay.
your the plan. Okay. So if you do have a difficulty and then you feel free to like set up a meeting just like what we did before, then I will help you to fix it like technically, and then you can work on some like paperwork, like documentation. Okay. And if you're okay and have no question, then let's jump on the to the our lecture. Okay, then I wish I can complete the whole lecture, but if you couldn't hear clearly, that let me know. Okay, and today we learn so far everything like the concepts, and right now we need to know like how can we do the control over the cloud data. So mainly we have 4 different like concepts. We need to know misconfiguration, ever change workload, access management, and disaster recovery. Another thing is going like potential risk it happen. So if you learn the we talk about the threat and then what's the twist, and then we mentioned a lot about backup recovery. Because since we can't avoid and all the risk like that threat really happen, so we need to have a backup plan. So we need to know for the misconfiguration, it talking about like incorrect and improper setting. So in a cloud environment, so it's anything about the like the port, the file permission or some files. Okay, so they call the security vulnerabilities and data data branch, and also service outage. So they mainly cause the resources like are deployed or managed without adequate security measure. Okay. Pretty common, let's say that we configure the S2 buckets like to the public, they can access the data. So sometimes share the experience like Capital One. So it's one of the example about misconfiguration. And how can we import the security group setting, let's say allow the unnecessary inbound or outbound traffic, increase the risk of attack. So mainly we will allow the access of like SSH of IP address, then maybe we will change to like the trust IP, or sometimes we're using the VPN we mentioned about long time ago. That's how can like always for the idea is at least privilege or like the minimum access, then it can avoid those problems going to happen like order. So when we remove the threat, then reduce the twist to like attack our server. And ever change workload is the cloud computing referred to the dynamic nature of the source demanding. So it means like, okay, so other application will experience like different type of usage. Okay, so the availability requires the ability to scale the resources like up or down when I need to do that. So these are always changing. So depends on the needs, then we will adjust our resource. Let's say we have the e-com site, they will run the sales. When we have a sales or like if you want to purchase some tickets, and your website maybe most of the time your usage maybe around 30 to 40%, but sometimes you will have a sudden spike. That means like goes up, maybe you getting a sales or like huge promotion, then you need to have extra resources. Sometimes if we're using Amazon, we can using auto scaling, increase not only your server itself, sometimes the service provider, they setting the bandwidth like for the in and out traffic. So we need to modify it, and especially for the big company, huge company, we have like Black Friday sales, and our user maybe pops up to 80 to 90% or 100% or request a lot, then we need to handle it. Do we need to add extra resources, make one more dynamic server, like create one more host to make the service like independent? Then we can resolve the request. And something about the media streaming, let's say the Netflix, we'll see Netflix depends on needs, or maybe holiday, most of people stay at home, or maybe weekend, it's the same idea. So if most of them need to watch movies, or if there's some more programs coming out release, then the needs increase, then we need to think about that. So we can have a container, we learn what's a Kubernetes to build a server and manage and scale the workload efficiently. That's how we can do like control the data. And then one more is the access management. So that's what we learned before and like cover this topic. So it's like who can access specific resources in the cloud environment. So only authorized users can access those census data or those applications. So only those granted permission, they're allowed to connect to it, as I said. That's what we talk about a lot about the IAM. So like based on their role and permission, then we can read or overwrite, update the original file, or like execute, run it. So IAM allows to create a user special permission. Also the developer, we need to use a lot, because as what you learn, maybe you're learning cybersecurity or study computer science as a full stack or software engineer. You also need to handle in different teams. Let's say if you are working for database, also you need to set the user account, API server, not only your Linux server, also the file permission directory. So all these web developer, maybe you will also need to upload to the host. So all this you need to set it. And we talk about the role-based access control. So this one is the RBAC allows to assign a permission based on the role rather than the individual user. So let's say if you're the admin, or if you're the maintain team or developer team, then they have different rights. So you see, maybe if you are the manager level, so maybe manager, they're not really like touch on the source code, then maybe they're right to read it and run to test it. But for developer, maybe we have the full right to update it. And then for admin, most of the time, they are not allowed to update the source code. Maybe they will cause the problem. Maybe they are allowed to read it. So we can reduce the risk of the over permission. So the idea is that always set as low as possible as a minimum permission, which is enough for access. And the last one is that we call the disaster recovery, and it's the most important, is the strategy and process you use to restore the ID infrastructure and operation after disaster. Okay, maybe as a student, or say, okay, it doesn't matter, or when you are learning programming, you say, okay, once we reboot. But for business, in the reality, in this industry, we are not allowed. Sometimes when the operation, let's say the bank, can we allow the service stop? Then even for 1 hour, 2 hours, you will receive lots of complaint, and then it will affect lots of transaction and or online shop. So that's why in the cloud, we need to always have a backup data. So maybe online backup, offline backup, and we need to like prevent for certain attacks. So we can quickly, allow us like quickly recover in case we have any failure. We try to minimize the downtime and data loss. Also like protect the business reputation. So it's the aim for the company. We need to have the company, like if we say we as a developer, we need to make sure the server or service is always like alive and online. Okay. And so far for the recovery, we have got the like backup and restore. We have the pilot light from standby or multi-site. And when we talk about backup and restore, it's kind of like common sense, or everybody have a chance to experience the touch it. Like you can back up your phone, computer. So it's the same idea. But for the server, we will just excuse. And we have regular backup the data, so maybe some like secure location, and restore the in case the data loss. You would say, okay, maybe I have one backup on the cloud like itself, so I can recover, or like you can save to another. Sometimes we have the NAS or like local desktop. For small business, you have own like hard drive, but for big computer, maybe you have different data center and then distribute all the copies, and some of the location like for the data server you are not open to public, then you can back up. Also, we have the third parties like AWS or other brand like Google or Azure. Also, you can automatically back up, so they will help you to save it to their database, and then you can recover. So you will know the time when's your last backup. Yesterday, yeah, there's a student because teaching the cybersecurity. We asked about, okay, if I being hacked, have a attacker, I try to roll back to the last update, but also last update it maybe have a still have a chance. Then you need to still roll back longer. But if you doesn't match the time, then we need to have think about the offline, or we build a new one and then upload the offline backup, and then make the service back to online again. The most is like time consuming to like figure out what's the problem. So that's why backups is really important. And then restore is taking faster. If your server is taking like 1 TB, then it lasts longer. You need to like taking whole day to doing backup and then recover. Okay. And during the backup, we need to know those like steps. First, like identify the critical data, and they just like the what data essential for operation. So we also have like sometimes have a list document in a company. We always like try to keep the documents. Okay, so keep that as essential for the operation, and then schedule regular backup. So maybe are we doing like daily? If for daily, that means or weekly or monthly. But all those like backup really depends on the service providing. Okay, so if it's an online shop, maybe for daily, because we need to handle, maybe there's so many users making orders, so it will depend on the frequency of the data change. Okay, and if it's okay, maybe there's some like not frequent change, you can make it like monthly, so we can reduce the backup time, like the frequency time, and then also save the storage, because when you have more backup, more copies, then you will have, it takes more storage. Okay, so all this backup will reduce our human error, because sometimes right now maybe as like entry level or like as a beginner, we always love to modify the original file, like it's quick. Or just like when I show you demonstrate, you will modify, let's say the Nginx, the sites available. But actually in real practice, we are not recommend to modify the file directly. And we need to like make a copy testing is, after we test it, it work correctly, then we will over like update the original one. Okay, and then we make a backup of the previous version and then the latest one. So in case something happen, we can roll back. Okay. And also we need to think about the storage options, or the premises, or like on the cloud. So those like service we can upload to the Amazon, or one is Amikami. So they also, all of them, you just like need to pay for it. You can have a backup. Okay. And then now when we have the multi-site redundancy, so we need to think about maybe we're containing the copies of data and application across multiple geographic location. So ensure like maybe one is fails, and then the service can quickly restore from other location, or it can support. So especially let's say we are a financial institution, they have primary data in New York and then secondary in London. So if let's say New York's done, then we can just modify the Nginx and then maybe the redirect. So if you still remember the Nginx, we have the like the upstream I mentioned about it, and then we can run Ruby, all these things. We can redirect, change the setting so we can let the, let's say in this situation, London get help to support it, and then we can do the recovery. After we recover it, then we can let the new back to online, then we can change our setting, then we direct all the users like back to normal. Okay. And when we do the after we have a backup, then we need to test our recovery procedure. Right? So we need to make sure like all the backup are functional. So before, because we cannot say, okay, in reality, it's really lots of chance it happen. So sometimes you back up, something is not really functionable, and then you try to recover from some of the backup is not functionable, then you cause the problem. And just make sure all the copies, like the one you are running on the server in certain version, certain time, and then just have a correct test. And then choose like regular testing, identify what the gaps. It do because especially the data change like frequency update. So we make sure, okay, maybe we know maybe for this moment, the server is done and then we need to roll back to the last version, but because the frequent update of data, maybe something we're missing, it's okay, good enough for us to like for temporary like back to online service, then we can recover quickly. Okay. And also adjustment. So maybe we need to modify the procedure, depends on the outcome. So that's what we need to do. And we need to know one more thing when design is called the HA with the term high availability. So we are design more like maximum operation uptime. We talk about it's a good thing about have a longer uptime. It's a good service or application. So sometimes if you look at your hardware, if you need to reboot a lot frequently, that means it's not stable enough. So make sure our system is available for really have a maximum operation. Okay, so because when we have a high operation time, that means it's really higher reliable, and we can provide better user certification. Okay, and also one more is the concept we need to learn when we learn programming software. We need to know one thing is the fault tolerance. Actually, it's possible because we are the even developer, even we did lots of testing, but we are lots of unexpected situation. So your source code or like when we deploy a system or cloud, like what's the availability, the ability to continue the operation despite the failure. So even though there are some failures, can your system, your service still available and serve, but instead of like I crash and stop my service. So sometimes when you see we using try, catch, or try to pass the error. So we know we do some error, but we won't crash our system. Okay. Maybe also we need to have a redundant system or data replication to prevent the failure. So if we couldn't get the data from data server A, then I try to get it from data server B, then we still available. Okay. We learn one thing is load balancing. The one is the Nginx, you know, the upstream. So this one we see the example. So that's why we can handle make sure we have a high availability, and also we have the tolerance to failure. Okay. And Then redundancy just like a duplicate. So we have the active passive or active active configuration. So this one is just depends on the system. So we always checking, okay, maybe we could back up like to multiple sites, or when we have failure, then we will redirect it. So it's called the duplicate system. All of the different, here's some example. Let's say AWS, we have the multi-AZ, can use Azure, we have got the zones and regions we can use. And Google Cloud too, we have the global loading system. And for the disaster recovery, so overall, if we're taking all the strategies and we can enhance it like by those like methods, we can improve it. So let's say we need to have a monitoring alerting system, so we can keep checking. Okay, if there are some suspicious real activities or the low, then we can change it. And then when we detect those suspicious activity or the resources is like getting too high, the computer, then we get a alert. Okay. Also, we get more like robust a backup solution. So then we can doing recover, then we can choose either one of the solution, and then regular update the disaster recovery plan. So based on the learnings, or because the industry is keep like changing, and then maybe the attacking, or most of them because like from the cloud attack hacker, they have different new methods to attack. So we need to always like update our plans and they have new strategy. And so far, here's everything we the basic concept about the misconfiguration, and then we have the dynamic workload. Also, how can we implement effective asset management and show that robust disaster recovery strategy. And here I quickly go through all the here I couldn't speak too long, and so I will let the latter part stop right here. Depends on if you have any question, you feel free to ask. If no, you would like to, if you want to ask about some programming things or questions, I can help you to handle it. If no, then we will, that's it for today's class. Do you have any other questions?
No questions.
Okay, yeah. So this one is shorter. So if you would like to know more about what's the cow control, then you can also look at some. Actually, online we have a lot, but it's a basic, simple concept. Yeah, if you're interested, you can look into it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and sorry about that because my voice
No
is
problem.
worse. Okay, that's it for
All
today's.
good. I hope you feel
Okay,
better soon, Professor.
okay, no problem. Okay,
All right, bye.
okay, goodbye, bye.